Kathy, would you lead us in the pledge?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brian, would you open prayer?
Absolutely. Father, we thank you for your blessings of life. And Lord, we just pray, God, that you be with us today, give us wisdom and knowledge to do the work of the people. And we pray also for the families in Texas that are mourning today. We just pray, God, that you would be with them especially, and the first responders that dealt with a truly horrific situation. We pray, God, that you would be with us today again, be with all the citizens of our county, and help us to endeavor, Lord, to always do right. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Everybody say
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you both. All right. Good morning and welcome.
Well, gentlemen, with that being said, I just have a little message I want to give this first thing this morning.
Perfect.
Okay.
And as Commissioner Davis said, with everything that's happened this past week and the tragedy and it's been really, I think for all of us, I haven't been sleeping. I just lay and worry and about all the children, what they're, just so many things. But with that being said, I was watching TV last night and saw an interview with Texas Lieutenant General, I think his name is Palmer, Dan Palmer.
Paxson?
Dan Patrick.
Oh, Dan Patrick.
And his message was just powerful, and it was so accurate. And I thought, I just felt a need to share it with you. And of course, these are his words, not mine. So I don't want to take claim for anything. But I just feel the need to share. And he was talking about, he was there at some of the meetings when they were trying to give information and gather information. And anyway, he basically said, and I'm going to read this because there's a little bit here and I didn't want to misquote it. He basically said that because of the fact that we live in a sick society, we have to ask ourselves who we are. And I know, I think everyone probably has, what could create an 18-year-old to be such, what has happened in his life to cause him to be such a monster, basically. And so he believes we are a nation of godly people, and Christians have to pray for God to heal our land. And I believe he's referring to 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. But with that being said, there are those in our community and in this country who are non-believers. But he went on to state, for those of us who are Christians, we have to take a stand. We need to take hold of our country, and we do that through prayer. He says, you cannot change the culture of a country without changing the character of the people. And you cannot change the character without changing a heart. And you can't do any of that without turning to God. And it was just, for me, and this is not a message for everyone, but for me, it struck home. If any country is in need of healing right now, when children cannot go to school and be safe and be slaughtered, we certainly do need this land to be healed. And so I'm just going to read to you 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. Just had to share it. Thank you for giving me a moment to do that. And I'll let you continue with the business of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we will start our meeting by approving the minutes of May 19th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 19th submitted by our clerk.
And I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter request for appropriation transfer of funds,
Any comments on the transfer of funds? Hearing none?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of accepting miscellaneous reports,
Any questions on the miscellaneous reports? Hearing none?
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of notification from the Ohio Department of Taxation regarding permissive sales tax,
Permissive sales tax notification for March 22. Local sales tax was $759,322.40. We also had the Sales Act for $379,694.96. That's a total of $1.13917. That's an increase of $65,253.15 from last March. So our economy is still growing, people are still spending money, and we see yet another increase year over year, $65,000. Any comments or questions?
I'd like to make a comment, sir.
Go ahead.
It's good to see the increase of the permissive sales tax continue. Everything you said is right on target. We did hit a low 4.1% unemployment in April of 2022. So that is a end over year. That is a 30-year low. That is as far as they go back, start tracking at 4.1%. We also checked the employment numbers because you can look at unemployment, but are people actually working? Our employment numbers are up 1,000 over last year, up over 3,000 during COVID, and are over what the numbers were prior to COVID. So our numbers are up. People are going to work. Not everybody, not yet, but I feel that will happen. There are a lot of jobs. My goodness, you see a lot of jobs openings in the community right now. Some are entry level, some are not. Some are very, very good jobs. So there's a lot out there. So if you're looking for a position, please, between what you'll find online as well as at individual.com for employers, but also through Ohio Means Jobs, the Workforce Development Center. Please check those out if you're looking for something. There are a lot of positions open right now, so we need people to go to work. And if you're one of those, you're coming fresh out of high school, college isn't your thing, get a trade, go to work, get busy. So we really recommend that, and now's the time to do it. Don't wait on everybody else to do it. I know a lot of people. I know whenever my kids graduated, they had they went straight to work while they were already working. But I know a lot of kids thought, well, I'll take the summer off. Well, everybody's taking the summer off, so that's when you can find a job. So go after the job, get it now, and that's my recommendation. And yeah, things are looking up. So we appreciate the opportunity.
Since you hit on workforce, I was going to say this till the end, but I'll talk about it now. Went to the Workforce Development Board meeting yesterday out at the electrician training center there, basically at the Clay overpass down by UPS. And they have a really great program right now. It is called, it's their Foundations program, partly ran through the CAO, Workforce Development Board, the different unions. And basically you can go into this class, and they will give you the foundations of what it's like to be in a construction site, and eventually you get to pick a path. Do I want to do electrician, carpentry, or plumbing, pipe fitting? And a fascinating program. These people are getting jobs instantly. And I'm going to say that again, they're getting jobs instantly. Our union halls are empty. They need people, and these are good paying jobs with great benefits. And we got to hear from 3 of the participants. 2 of them were people that went through recovery. They found purpose, they found meaning and work and solid work and training. Another gentleman was an individual from Mexico that ended up getting his citizenship, and he was talking about what the opportunity meant for him versus back home, and it's changing lives. There's an opportunity there. There are groups in this county right now that will help you find a job and get you education for free, and quite honestly, someone will pay you to go through the education. But if you're interested, they have another cohort coming up for the summer cohort. I don't have the information. We'll post something on our Facebook page, or CAO has it as well, but it's the Foundations program. And actually, while you're in that program, you're also getting college credit should you want to then go on to get a degree as well. So it's a great program. These guys are already working out. One of them is working out on the project out at the Green School. One of them is working at DuPont. The other one is with the carpentry company, and I don't remember exactly what he's doing. But they were talking about, basically what it meant to find that work ethic and have people pour into them. So great opportunity if that's something you're looking for. Of course, the unemployment rate's low, but that also means there's a ton of opportunity out there. Employers are hiring. So I just wanted to share that now since you already hit workforce development. So, no, thank you.
Sorry.
With that, can we get a motion to accept the permissive sales tax?
I'll make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of proposed contract between Access Sauter County and Shawnee State University to provide student transportation.
And this is a renewal we've done in the past.
Yes.
It's a proposed contract between Access Sauter County and Shawnee State University to provide student transportation from June 11th, 22 through May 1st of 23. Total amount for this contract cannot exceed $3,500 over the life of the contract. Any comments or questions? Hearing none.
A motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of communication from AEP Ohio regarding Raritan Rosemount Area Improvements Project, changes to proposed power line route.
This was a communication dated May 11th, 22 from Maggie Beggs, a project outreach specialist from AP, stating there were changes to the power line route. Basically, they're running a power line from Raritan to Rosemount for an improvement project. Basically, what happened here is that the original route was going to run essentially through the Arc of Appalachia project at Mound Park and in front of that property as well through that protected area. And I know we got involved with that. Of course, there was some, the folks from the Arc of Appalachia were involved with that as well. And how important it was that the line did not run through that property and what it meant, not just to the Arc, but to the history of that site. And quite honestly, the tourism opportunity for that site as well. So AEP, thank you. They have rerouted. They've moved it further north, away from that site. So that's what this communication states. Any additional comments or questions?
I would ask that affected property owners, please, if you should receive a letter from AEP in regards to this. So if you have potential problems, please call AEP on those. There's communication as far as phone numbers and ways to get a hold of AEP to talk to a person about it. We just want to make sure that there's no other issues as a result of this change. We assume property owners have been properly communicated with, so please, check that out. We believe that they have, but we want to make sure that that is the case.
Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation of funds,
Was there any comments or questions on the appropriations? Hearing none.
Motion approved.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of request for fund transfers,
Any comments or questions on the fund transfers? Hearing none?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of request to transfer vehicle from Scioto County Sewer Department to Earl Thomas Conley Park and Recreation Department.
We received some communication from JP Picklesheimer, sanitary engineer. He's requesting that a 2006 GMC truck, and it has 165,726 miles, be transferred to our ETC Parks and Recreation Department. Any comments or questions? Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of memorandum from the sanitary engineer regarding certification of unpaid sewer rates and charges.
Any comments or questions on the unpaid sewer rates and charges? It was a large sum, I want to say $310,000 of outstanding. I'm looking, it's buried.
Yes.
So as you can see, it's a very thick stack here. Yeah, $316,706.57 of unpaid sewer. Goes across multiple properties. There's 27 pages. So please pay your sewer. If not, it does get tacked onto your taxes, property taxes. Any comments or questions? Hearing none?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution authorizing the formation of a community improvement corporation to promote and encourage the establishment of growth in industrial, commercial, distribution, and research facilities within Scioto County, Ohio, regarding the Scioto County Economic Development Department.
Commissioner Davis, would you like to start this conversation?
I can. We have been working on a CIC. Mr. Horton's here with us today. 2 years, creating a CIC for Scioto County, and that is Community Improvement Corporation. And we're there. We're at the place to where we can actually do that. I would, Robert, if you would like to opine on that.
Can we get
as far as
Robert a microphone, please?
yeah,
Ryan,
Ryan.
he has his
Need a microphone.
microphone for Robert.
But this is something that will help us with further economic development opportunities. It's more of a private, as far as entity, and it will help us to be able to work with those developers and entrepreneurs who wish to do so in a more private manner. There is a board that comes from this. Other counties have this same thing. Jackson County has one. Lawrence County has one. And they very much can go after grants. They can go after public monies. They can go after private monies. They act very much similar, but a little different than a port authority. And so this is just one more tool in the economic development toolbox. One more, weapon to be able to go out and offer this to developers. Robert, I don't know if you wanted to opine any further on that.
Well, that's correct. You pretty much nailed it. I mean, and we've been working on it a while, but Patrick with Frost Brown and Todd, our attorney, he's got all the paperwork involved in place now, and we should be able to make this a real entity, I would hope, next week. So, but that's exactly right. It's more for private type. You get some industries that come in, we're able to keep their stuff a little more confidential as we move through, and it's a great vehicle for what you said, for our private developers, entrepreneurs, businesses that want to start up right here inside the county.
When you talk about a board, Robert, can you talk about the makeup of a board? So many public people, private people, how large?
It's the CIC, it doesn't matter how large. The board we have formed right now is 5. And it has to be think it's 60% elected, on the board, or
Sounds right.
like myself, appointed, elected or appointed officials for the county. The rest is private.
And basically LEDC in Lawrence County
Exactly.
is the
They
CIC.
are
so
CIC.
they predominantly run everything through their
They
CIC,
are,
right?
they are the economic development
Right.
entity in Lawrence County. Jackson County is very much the same, as far as Sam Brady's organization up there and what they do.
That's
But the other nice thing about a CIC is that it can do community development, community improvements. So it's not limited to just economic development, but it also, you can do community development and work toward community development projects. So when you get into that hemisphere, you get a lot of private individuals that are investors that they don't necessarily want their business known until the project happens. And sometimes even after that, they don't. There are just individuals that they want to help, but they don't want their name plastered all over everything. They want to donate, they want to
That's
provide.
correct.
And when that happens, you know, you have to respect that. And there are people that just will not get involved because they're private. They're private people. They don't want things out there. So
And they're not out there for, the glory of
they're exactly. They're not glory hounds. They're not looking for exactly. So again, that's another thing that this does. To be honest with you, we have Sauter County Economic Development. We have the Southern Ohio Port Authority. Those both have their individual entities that they do individual things. We know that the Port Authority has very much become more of a bonding, land transfer type entity for economic development. We've seen that recently with the bonding of Pure Cycle, with the bonding of SOAR, land transfer of Martins. I mean, we're seeing the entities actually being used properly for what their intended purpose is. This would be complementary, but in a way that more, it would actually draw more investment, more entrepreneurship into the county. Growth, how that, what that looks like a year from now, I don't know, but the first part is just literally creating the entity, which has to be done by this board, and then it is the CIC for the county. So that's the whole purpose behind it.
Very good.
Then we'll see what happens from there. But it's a start. I will tell you that, just to give you an idea, LEDC has built many projects.
And not just spec buildings.
Not just spec buildings. We're talking about hotels and things like that
Yeah.
as well. They built the Marriott down there. Was that the Fairfield Inn they built? I believe it was, down in Ironton.
They've been involved in office build-out, transformation of the older buildings in
Yeah.
Ironton.
Yeah. So,
They're very involved.
and that is another great example where somebody would want to invest, say, in downtown Portsmouth and redo an entire building. They could work through the CIC.
Yeah.
The name of it is the Sauter County
5C.
5C CIC, and there's a reason for that. Short 5C CIC, and there's a reason for that name, is that it's a Fifth Accord. So it would be located at Fifth Accord streets. So the actual entity, the legal entity, physical entity. So that's why. But it's another tool, another way to draw investment into our area. We have had people that have contacted economic development and said, I don't want my business, I don't want it out there. I don't want everybody to know what I do. And we're talking about people that their hearts are in really great places, but they're very private individuals. They don't want that out there. And you have to respect that for people. But, so anyways, that's the That's the idea behind it.
Any additional comments or questions?
No, sir.
So today, we're just discussion, and then next week, consider the resolution, or are we comfortable moving forward with the resolution today? We do have the resolution already drafted.
I recommend we move on with it.
All right, so
What
with that, can we get a motion?
was that?
A motion.
What did you recommend?
I said I recommend that we move on with the resolution, and it's your
Okay.
motion.
I don't have any more questions personally. I didn't know if there was any more questions from the board.
I've had individual conversations.
I've read the
with,
resolution over and over.
I've had individual conversations with Robert, so I'm familiar with one. And I understand and have conversations with Lawrence County and kind of how successful their
Yeah.
projects have been through their CIC. So I'm comfortable with moving forward as well. So with that, can I get a
If that's the
motion?
case, I'll make a motion to adopt.
And
All right.
I will second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi.
In the matter of agreement between Sauter County Commissioners, Sauter County Recorder, and Fiddler Technologies regarding media conversion.
This is agreement between commissioners and the recorder and Fiddler Technologies for media conversion, image art services, scanning, image cropping, border removal, image enhancements. Basically, we're going to be scanning everything. Basically, project management resource and the import of 74 books. So they'll be digitizing 74 books. It's in the amount of $35,430.64. Any comments or questions? I would just say I appreciate the recorder's office and getting these resources digitized to make them easier to index, to find, to basically make business easier for them and for the county. So thank you for moving forward with that project. Any other comments? Hearing none.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi.
In the matter of communication from Portsmouth Municipal Court regarding electronic monitoring house arrest invoice.
This is our March 22nd invoice from EMHA. There were 49 defendants on the program for a total of 918 days at $14.50 a day. No payments made by the defendants, leaving the total amount owed to the county $13,311. Any comments or questions? Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In a matter of request to attend meetings and trainings.
Any comments or questions on the request to attend meetings? Hearing none.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of Ohio Department of Natural Resources Capital Improvement Budget Pass-Through Agreement Amendment regarding the Elks CC Dam Repair Project.
This is the dam project?
This is
The
the
ODNR capital improvement budget.
dam project. So the Elks Dam project.
There you go. And this is to extend the project through June 30th of '23. We still have to bid out this project. Funding's there, we have to bid out the project. It clearly won't be completed by June 30th of '22, since we still have to bid and go through that process, but this extends out the timeline to next year. Any comments or questions on this project? I know you've been working on it, Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, we literally, I sent a follow-up email Monday or Tuesday of this week, I can't remember which day, and they just approved it, the controlling board. So that releases the money. The project had been approved to form, but they had to get it through the controlling board, which is a board that's set up of citizens, by ODNR. But anyway, actually by the governor. But anyways, this is the extension of that. But this will encumber the money. We got to get this back to them, encumber the money, and then we can start bidding. The project itself, of course, is for the replacement of the dam at the Elks pond there. It's a water retention dam that provides fire protection and also flood protection for that area. So I did reach out to the Elks and let them know that we're getting to the finish line here as far as this process, and then we will be putting that out to bid. Literally, it'll require removal of the earthen dam, replacement of the drainage system. There's a old drainage system there. It's a literally a turn system that you turn this big giant valve. It leaks. It's leaked for years. It has actually caused some of the degradation of the dam itself. And so, but we're there. And, this was Senator Johnson, Representative Aldridge helped with this when we first started down this path in the last budget cycle. So appreciate them helping out. And now we'll get this moving. And it's a very positive thing. And what we'll probably do, and I'm going to try to schedule a meeting with the board. Golfing, it's really important, okay? And right now they irrigate the greens, everything else with the water from the pond, okay? So, and there's a pump from the Sauter River that goes into the pond, and they do a lot of different things there. But anyways, we want to try to time it to where they no longer have to water greens. There's actual time in the fall, late fall, that they water, but then eventually they cut that off. And the best time to do this would be late fall, early winter, and that is to drain the lake,
Collect the golf balls.
the millions of golf balls, which they do. That's a big thing out there, and I'm sure several of them are mine. And that would be the perfect time. So we want to work with them so as to not, mess with the golfers, because they'll golf all winter if they can, but not watering the greens, things like that. They don't have to worry about it. So we'll time it with them. When I first met with them, that was their big ask. Don't do this in the middle of the season, of course. So we'll stay away from that and do everything we can to make this the lowest impact possible to the country club. But real easy access right off I think it's Country Club Drive right there. And we'll take the fence out and we'll have access to the dam, and spillway's fine. They'll be actually able to go over the spillway into where the dam is and start excavation. So should be interesting to see how that all goes, but we'll put that out for bid, and it's just a heads up to any local contractors that are into that. There are engineering drawings and everything that has to be done, so it's specific work that has to be done, and ODNR will be overseeing the inspection of the dam during the process. So we have to make sure that we do it right. But that's it.
Very good. With that, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
And I'll second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of authorizing the clerk to advertise notice to bidders for courthouse roof masonry repair project and notice of employment for economic development project manager.
Okay, so there's two notices in this line item. The first is roof masonry project. If you look up around the top of the courthouse outside, you can see some of the rock flaking away, some of the building flaking away. There's been pieces fall to the ground. It's an issue. It's an issue as the water's getting into these cracks and swelling. And anyway, this is an opportunity to fix that. One, to protect the building, but two, to protect the people walking underneath and outside. So this would bid out that project. It's a roof and masonry project. So, and it's a very specific skill set that we have the specs for that. So even a specific type of materials needed for this project. And then the second notice is for an employment opportunity and economic development for a project manager. We've had a vacancy in Robert's office for a little bit now. Time to move forward and get him the support that he needs. So that that posting will be out. If you're somebody that's a project manager in economic development, we encourage you to apply. Any additional comments or questions on these two line items?
I'm glad to see this goes right along with getting our building back to the 1924, 27, getting it back to its main condition. So hopefully we'll be able to get some good bids.
We have an anniversary coming soon, and it'll give us time to get it back in shape as it was once.
All right. With that, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
A second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution of appreciation for the outstanding public service of Floor BWXT to the citizens of Scioto County, Ohio.
We have a resolution here that I'd like to read, and eventually, hopefully, we can present to our friends at Floor. Is that the plan? This resolution is as follows. Whereas the contract between Floor, BWXT, and the Department of Energy for decontamination and decommissioning of the former nuclear site Piketon is scheduled to be closed, or scheduled to cease in March of 2023. And whereas Floor BWXT created the Opportunity Fund as part of their community commitment plan so funds could be used to support job-creating projects to diversify the regional economy from dependence on the United States Department of Energy. And whereas Floor BWXT has awarded numerous Opportunity Fund grant to businesses in the 4-county region of Jackson, Pike, Ross, and Sauter County from 2013 to 2021 in the excess of $2 million. And whereas Floor BWXT has assisted Sauter County economic development in leveraging investment, both capital and machinery and equipment, to the extent of $705,871, allowing for 313 full-time jobs to be created and 670 full-time jobs to be retained in Sauter County, and those companies investing $62,990,045 into this community. And whereas Floor BWXT has been a regional economic development leader and corporate citizen with respect and competency, and has exhibited outstanding community spirit by leading by example, now therefore be it resolved by virtue of the authority vested in us, we do hereby commend Floor BWXT for promoting industrial, economic, commercial, and civic development for Sauter County. So thank you so much to Floor and your continued investment into the region, but also the county. As you can see, their support has helped support almost $63 million in investment into this community since the Opportunity Fund was created in 2013. Is that correct, Robert?
Yeah.
So they've been great. They've been a great partner for us, and I know Robert reaches out to them frequently and often for support on different projects. So we thank them for their support. Any additional comments or questions?
They do more than what you mentioned there too. They also give scholarships and different things to our communities in those types of ways as well. So we
Yeah.
do thank them very much.
Yeah, their community involvement is huge since they've been out there, and what they do, Science Alliance, all of those different things that they do to help our schools. They also, fundraise during the holidays to food baskets and things like that, and they do give to many charitable organizations. So their involvement out there has just been really, really great. They've been a great contractor, and appreciate all of their efforts on behalf
Absolutely.
of Sauter County and the surrounding region.
Very good. With that, can I get a motion?
Motion to adopt.
A second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of accepting an amended certificate from the Budget Commission.
Any questions on the amended certificate? Hearing none.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution establishing a fund for Southern Ohio War Memorial.
Sauter County Commissioners were awarded from the state of Ohio, the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, a cultural project grant program for the Southern Ohio War Memorial in the amount of $102,000 and $137. Gotcha. But we needed a line item for this funds to go into. So we've actually already been awarded the project, but this is more of a housekeeping to create the fund for that money to go into and to be reimbursed out of. Commissioner Davis, I know you've been very involved with the Southern Ohio War Memorial. And so thank you for your continued effort on that. I know there's, a lot of our veteran organizations have been asking about this. So this is just another step to make sure the funding is there and accessible. Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none.
Much to adopt.
A second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment of the regular schedule of accounts for the various funds, moral obligations, and the then and now certificates in the total amount of $460,105.09.
Was there any questions on the docket? Hearing none.
Motion to approve?
I will second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution regarding the expenditure of American Rescue Plan fiscal recovery funds regarding Cirque d'Art Theater.
We received a request from Cirque d'Art. They're a nonprofit organization that serves many children in our community. Post-COVID, it was close to 200.
Yeah.
They're back up to right around 130. During COVID, though, they did lose revenue from having events and having classes and all those things. So they did request an amount of $80,800 to help make up that difference over the past 2 years in that deficit. Cirque d'Art is, the arts is critical for children. It gives them a sense of purpose. It gives them an outlet to be creative. I know Cirque d'Art does wonderful things throughout our community. It looks like they're almost always involved in the different events in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
And then also I know that they also supply and provide stipends or free scholarships to children that cannot afford classes. So, and Commissioner Davis, I know you had the opportunity to go over there and kind of see the facilities. If you have any additional insight on this.
Well, I know that they're going to be very, very excited to learn of the support by the Sauter County Commissioners in investing in their program. I was just taken aback by the absolute impact that they're having on the children of our community, ranging from old enough to walk, it seems, to Shawnee State University. There are now, they're into their second generation of students, and they are now Shawnee State University students who went through their program, who are now instructors, paid instructors at Cirque d'Art. So it's really fascinating to watch that, and then to see the impact it's having on those children. They teach circus arts, they teach a lot of different things, and a lot of it, is discipline, and the training, and all these things that always translate into other things in life. And I was just so impressed with the work that Peggy does there. Peggy Wilkes and her team, they just do a wonderful job. Was able to attend the artist event the other day where they've come up with these silhouettes for the back parking lot, and they're very creative people, and they're hoping to do repairs to the building. The building itself was the former H&L Green building. Some of the shop there years and years ago. I remember when I was a kid going there. They occupy the basement, the first floor, and the second floor of the building. Those are all studios. But to give you an idea of what they were facing, like the basement was totally unusable during the winter because of heat. They had no heat in the basement. So this is going to help help part of that. Take care of the heat issue altogether. Other things that they needed to purchase, other HVAC, their HVAC system is very old. They needed a new HVAC system for the first and second floor. So they're getting that. Their studio, all their costumes and everything where they do their performances, all the costume, all of those materials are stored in an area that is not really adequate because of the lack of shelving, things like that. And because of the nature of the organization, they have tuition, but they also do a lot of charity, and they do a lot of donations of tuition to individuals, children that are not able to pay, their families are unable to pay. So they do a lot of that, and it just shows you the caring nature of the individuals that are working there and trying to help these kids, learn vital life skills. And so, I also, we hear this a lot, that there's absolutely nothing for kids to do here. This is just another example of something that kids can do, and it is very, very good. Good exercise, and I'll tell you, just being in the studio and watching, those kids are having fun. They really are, and it's girls and boys, and they're doing wonderful, wonderful work there. So with that, I wish them well. I know that, they're working on a performance now that they'll be doing here soon, and multiple more in the future, and I'm excited to see them grow in our community even more than what they have. They'll rebuild. Though they lost several kids during COVID, they did about 70, but they'll rebuild. And now's the time to get involved. Now's the time to sign your kid up, get involved, get in there. And summertime, let's keep the kids busy. So,
Thank you for that.
mhm.
Any additional comments or questions?
No, sir.
All right, with that, can I get a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi. Well, looks like we're at the end of our agenda. Any questions from items on the agenda? No questions on the book of faces?
I have several things at the end.
Colin.
It's okay.
Please state your name.
Yeah, Colin Dartman, live in Vernon Township. Just regarding item 11, the Community Improvement Corporation. You said, those people probably, a lot of those people have good hearts, just want to keep themselves anonymous. I'm just curious if there is a possibility in this corporation for people to not have the best of intentions and be able to keep that private from accountability, etc.
Gosh, I guess that's...
Is there an opportunity for
I guess that's a
exploitation?
pessimistic way to look at the world if we're concerned that everybody's out to
Well, you got to look
game
out
the
for these
system.
things, yeah.
I mean, hopefully the board would be,
Yeah,
providing
the firewall.
oversight and the firewall to prevent against that.
That's what.
Unfortunately, Colin, I think,
Yeah.
Well,
and
that was-
Robert maybe want
Robert pointed out that's why 60% is elected and or appointed.
yeah.
That was
It's not like you're opening up something that's just, you can go run with it and do what you want. We still have to abide by the Ohio Revised Code.
Right.
And we have to conduct business in a professional and right legal manner.
no,
And I would encourage to check out kind of the success from other CICs within the state versus just, and I see what you're saying. If you were saying, hey, it can be done in private, it's not to hide anything. It is to provide investors the opportunity to figure out their deals without everybody weighing in on whether or not they should be investing or whether or not they should, it's going to affect market
Well, also,
forces.
you have some companies that have proprietary stuff that
Yeah.
they do, and, we, even with economic development, even with SOCA, we still sign non-disclosures to
Yeah.
a point. We have to. You're out, you've got a great idea, but you're out getting permits, getting drawings before you can even break ground on the projects you want to do, and all of a sudden you got there, you tell the world, and next thing you know, Joe Blow's coming here and built one for you. So, business is funky. I mean, you have to be somewhat protected
funky stuff.
in some realms. You really do. But that's what we're looking at on that side of it. But the biggest thing is we want to attract those companies rather than losing them to our neighbors, which we're doing.
no pessimism from me. I just, that's part of the commissioner's job is to look out for the consumers.
Absolutely.
So just a real quick follow-up on that. 60% elected or appointed, is there any sort of guidance as to which? Like, can you guys appoint all 60% of those? How would they go about being elected? Who would be the voters?
So it'll be up to this board to figure out who those individuals are. So,
And then,
Elected by the board.
yeah, but then
Yeah,
afterwards, afterwards, the bylaws are adopted, so they have to come up with all that. I mean, we're literally in the infancy on this thing.
yeah.
Once the board is seated, then they have to create bylaws. And I would think that Frost, Brown, and Todd will probably be instrumental in coming up with those, because whatever you do needs to be right in line with what other CICs have done across the state, so that we're not doing something that's, you know, not right. So Frost, Brown, and Todd's gonna, the legal entity.
There are legal representatives.
Yeah, so they'll do that part, and then we'll go from there, so.
And just real quick, is there any overlap between that and the Economic Development Office? Like, is the Economic Development Office going to end up being captured, their roles captured by this new enterprise?
No, not really. What'll happen there, and this is where people, I think, get a misconception. Economic development, we don't build, you know, we don't fund, we are a matchmaker. That's what economic development does in all the communities. They're matchmakers, and we are the entity in which Jobs Ohio, Ohio Southeast, and ODOD, all the economic funding mechanisms at the state level go through. And we connect them, you know. In other words, you've got a project, you come to me, Robert, I've got this project, will it fit for funding or, you know, any kind of incentives? Then I would connect you to these, I bring these people in, we all sit down, because I have to let them know that I'm supporting you, you know, to an extent, if we can see this in our community. And you will actually make your funding deal with them, not economic development. We're a matchmaker.
Matchmaker working.
Yeah, that's it, believe it or not.
We're gonna give him a little arrow, kind of
And we'll help anytime we can. When we have that time, we will help pursue grants.
Well, and since you've got all those people coming to you, you can connect them with other people,
That's
so
what
they
we
kind
do.
of line up their
Yeah.
interests. I got you.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Any
Colin,
additional?
I might add something to that, your first question. Early on in our conversations about SOAR, a local businessman had an interest in building out there. But the nature of his business, where he had so many local customers, clients, would hinder him because of all of these customers could probably do or bid on most of the work that would have to be done out there. So it kind of protected him as a businessman to not lose customers.
Because they're mad. Well, you gave us some of that.
Right.
It's,
All right. Any additional questions on agenda? No? Off agenda? Please state your name, sir.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Thomas Bailey. I live here in Portsmouth, Ohio. And then just giving an update on a couple projects I'm working on, just checking in, giving a follow-up. I did meet with Sam Sutherland, and the subject was Bannon Park. And he told me to go ahead and get an invoice for the purpose of painting the court. And so I went to Sherman Williams, got an invoice, and I'll be turning that into Mr. Sutherland tomorrow. And number two, for the 140.
You're parking right?
The parking lot.
Yeah.
I have something for you on that, actually, but go ahead.
Nice. Nathan Posh is my
Prosh, yeah.
Prosh.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna check in with him tomorrow.
Yes.
Just to get updated. And then I did talk to the people from the number you gave me.
ODOT?
Yes.
And they told you that I was wrong.
Well, no, they referred me. No,
Well, they should have, because I was wrong. When I told you it was ODOT, I was wrong. Even though it is in their name, the lot is in the name of the Ohio Department of Transportation. If it is in the city limits, It is the city's job to maintain that. Right after our meeting, a matter of fact, last time, and of course I wasn't here last week because I was offering proponent testimony in Columbus, but they called me and they said, in so many words, Mr. Davis, you are incorrect. And I appreciated that, I really did, and I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. And so yes, Nathan would be the one you would want to talk to. And matter of fact, I went over there this past week and spent some time in the parking lot and got my deep tissue massage while I was driving through. And it is in very, very, very bad shape. The potholes are just horrendous, and hopefully the city can do something about that in the near future to get the holes filled in. And I don't know.
Yeah, my goal once I meet with Nathan, I'm going to intentionally request for a projected timeline,
Yeah.
so I can keep track of that. Then found out for the lifeguards that community action
It's
will
manageable.
be
Yep.
taking care of that.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yep.
They put out, for people to sign up.
And then my next project I'm going to be working on is when we have the group home, we'll do some research to see what are the possibilities of getting a van. And then I seen on here you have the fleet management,
What group home?
one that's on, it's here in Portland, it's the boys group home. And so I don't know if he's aware of it, but I will get you information.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure what location you're talking about, but okay.
Okay.
That might be managed by a non-prof or
Yes, it is.
a, okay.
This fleet management is a separate issue. It's specifically for county vehicles. We're looking at doing something
County
possibly
vehicles.
there.
Okay.
Very good.
And then lastly, the lady who was here from the 4-H program, I'm gonna follow up with her. And then I have Coach Burrows, Coach Collins, and we're working, putting together a little program, life skills program. And then I think that develops, I'll get you copies of that information.
All right, thank you,
Okay.
Thomas.
Great.
Additional questions not on agenda?
I know you guys have to get on to your land bank meeting, but do you want me to just list down the couple few that I have and then hand off the mic over and go back and forth?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, I just wondered, this ends up being a reactive thing instead of proactive, but I wondered, our homeless shelter, I believe Maureen Cadogan heads that up. I just wondered what your guys' thoughts were on a funding line item out of our general fund. Like I said, kind of reactive instead of proactive. We can start talking about mental health another day, and maybe that'll be cutting down on some of the homeless population. But I wondered about funding that, and I know that you guys have made the armory available to her throughout this pandemic, and I believe that contract is rounding out, if I am not mistaken. I just wondered if there were any long-term plans for the armory, or you guys were trying to sell it, how you were planning on navigating that. Any CPS update that you have, be it population and or funding? Scotty, if you're seeing any trends as far as where we might save money with the JFS umbrella, that'd be about it.
Okay. Homeless shelter, so the Armory actually is operated by the 14th Street Community Center. So they're the ones that provided that space to the homeless shelter at a cost of whatever it was. $8,000 a month. They're funding, my understanding, because the homeless shelter is a nonprofit, my understanding is their funding for that project has ran out or is running out, as you mentioned, in June. I know I've been on site out there at the Armory. I believe both of you have as well. There's some inherent issues there, I think, to make it a viable homeless shelter or to expand it. And, so we've been looking at that, Colin, because right now the homeless shelter over here is full.
It's pretty small.
And it's small and it's full. And then the other piece of it is, you know, there's, well, they could service more people at the Armory, but logistically, I don't know that it meets the requirements. And Commissioner Davis, you might have more information on that. You know, if you want to talk about mental health, they do a heck of a job at the homeless shelter on what they do. But you can't force people to stay there, and you can't force people to take help. And the story that I heard while I was over there is very much some of that. Unfortunately, where they're trying to get people, you know, their driver's license or a job or, you know, whatever it is, and people will come in and decide, hey, that's not for me. I'd rather go back and, you know, whether it's living in Tent City or couch surfing or whatever it is. So they have access to all the programs there to try to help people get off their feet. They're successful in some cases. In other cases, they're not. So you're right, we do have a gap for mental health. In terms of CPS, we're still working through that process. Accenture, who is they are the consultant that the state of Ohio has paid to come down and review not only our CPS, but JFS's interaction with CPS through their rapid response team. That is still ongoing. We do have a lean routine, likely a Kaizen event, which is a week-long process mapping improvement event. That's looking like it'll probably happen toward the end of July. JFS statewide has some lean Ohio folks, some black belts as well, that I happen to know very well, so they'll be coming down to process map out and kind of look at it. We do have some data that we're looking at. Our population is not moving at the rate we would hope in terms of getting people some permanency. There's some additional conversations that need to happen with the prosecutor's office and the judge, because it's not a singular CPS issue. There's a system process in terms of how we move kids through the system. So Tammy and Jason has been awesome working together. Their main focus at this point, because it is a procedure, is making sure the staff is comfortable throughout this process. I know they were looking at and currently in negotiation with the unions through CPS and joining with JFS, so that is ongoing. I think it's going well as the feedback we're getting. So there's still a lot of things going on there, Colin. The savings is, and we've said it all along, the savings is not combining them initially. The savings is not, hey, we're going to eliminate staff or any of those things. The savings is we can move faster to try to fix the problem versus trying to tackle it 3 hours at a time every 30 days. So that's, and also under the JFS system, they have a little more access through different funding and through different things throughout the state that we're still looking into. So there's a lot going on there. There's a whole lot going on there. I know Tammy and Jason probably have better answers than that, but they've been providing weekly updates on whether, you know, what's kind of going on there. So.
Yeah, I know you did say up front that it would not be an immediate savings.
No,
it would be process improvement and possibly savings down the road.
That's right.
I just wondered if there was a particular line item that you saw that was.
I mean, if you want to talk line items, eventually when the two buildings combine, I mean, you have a physical plant. Is that a big, no, not in the grand scheme of the deficit that's happening within that agency. So like that'll be an immediate, but in terms of staff or anything like that, there's no intention at all to consolidate or to remove staff. Actually, I think Tammy needs to hire staff too under her JFS team. So if you're looking for a job, I'm sure CPS is looking, and also I'm sure JFS is looking as well. So.
And the attorney that you guys added, he or she is in place?
Yes, and I want to be clear, it's not an added, it is a transition because the one attorney is done at the end of the year, so it gives us about 6 months training leeway. So we'll still be at a 2-attorney system basically come January 1.
Colin, one thing I'd like to add, you were talking or asking about the population. Historically, during the summer months when kids are out of school, the numbers will go up. So, you know, if you see
They
that
went up last
happen.
year, yeah.
Yes.
I figured they would go down because there were less teachers with eyeballs on these
Yeah, that's what we
kids.
thought too. That's not what happened last year at all. It was quite the opposite, and which was, JFS even made mention of that. Throughout the state, you kind of see it go down during the summer, and we did not in this community. So we're working through it. There's a lot more to come on that.
On the homeless shelter question, I know that the contract between 14th Street Community Center and the homeless shelter with Marie, it was $8,000 a month. Those were CARES Act dollars that were committed, that she had received, that she was paying. Last I talked to the 14th Street Community Center, they were trying to negotiate, but I don't see how she could afford the $8,000. The other issue there was the 14th Street Community Center made and it's the 17th Street Community Center is what it is. The Armory is the 17th Street. They run it, made it available as an emergency measure because of COVID. That emergency is by some, defined, but we'll say it's not there right now. But the other issue with that is the building compliant to fire codes and, restroom facilities? Now, I think that's okay. We are working to redo the commercial kitchen up there. We got a CDBG grant to do that. The restrooms, there's a restroom facility that's going to be redone. So there's going to be some facility upgrades that we were able to get some money for the 14th Street Community Center to do that, and we actually have had those bids done. So we haven't awarded that yet, but we are waiting to see what the architect thinks they've done, but we have to talk about that some more. But even with that, I'm not sure that it actually is adequate for regular use, non-emergency use. So that was brought up to me by the former fire chief, Bill Rayson. I have not talked to Fire Chief Lowry about that in Portsmouth, about doing something more. It is concerning. I know that in talking to law enforcement and several EMS providers, the workers at Portsmouth Fire Department, that several of the homeless that they have encountered have been individuals that have come here for treatment. They drop out after a certain period of time and they end up homeless. We're seeing an increase there. Mental health is a big issue. It's a huge issue with most of these individuals. And we did, I know you did, I did quiz, what's being done, and there's a real issue there as far as getting people to do it. Some people just don't want to be bothered. They just want a roof over their head and some food, and that's just part of the illness. It is, and it's sad. It really is, because some people really need assistance. They really need it, but if they don't want it, you can't force it on them. So it's a real issue. We get Job and Family Services. I get calls occasionally. I know they do. And we'll call over and say, "What do you have on so and so?" And then we have to hand it over because there's a lot of confidential information there. When you're talking about individuals, HIPAA and things like that. I mean, there's confidential information, and there at times, and it's really frustrating. They'll make contact with the person. They don't want help, and they don't want assistance, whether they see it or they just don't want it. I don't know. Sometimes it's different, but I see this will continue to be a problem. I think it will increase in our society, and this is one reason we're talking at the state level as far as what are you going to do? You privatized all this stuff. And you closed all the mental health hospitals in the state, except for a few. And when you have one that at the max has 80 beds up in Athens for 2 million people in southeastern Ohio, how is that even close? And all those beds are taken up really, where right now there's a waiting list of 17 from here for up there, and there's no openings for 30 days. So what happens to those individuals during that 30 days? It's a real concern. And the answer we received was they're on the street. They're on the street. And that's so sad to think and to know. And it's a tough fight. It really is to get people help. There is assistance available. But like I said, I know our Job Family Services goes out of their way. Sometimes they'll put them in a hotel. Sometimes they'll find a rental home. They'll steer them in the right direction to help them with benefits, things like that, if they want it. But that's the key. And sometimes they just beat their heads against the wall trying. And others, like I said, some just don't know that they need it. You know what I mean? That's a hard thing. But
I am correct in saying, though, that the county does not provide regular funding to the homeless shelter?
no, they do not. They do not.
I know you guys are a little late. If you have any additional comments, Mr. Coleman, Mr. Davis.
Very quickly, just wanted to let Madison Township know that we are working on a ARP request for them, hoping to be able to do a playground in Madison Township at their senior center. Hopefully we'll be able to do that next week. Something that I was honored to do actually last week was on Thursday go up and offer proponent testimony for HB 523, which is the Adams Board bill that basically re-empowers the Adams Boards for more local oversight. The bill was brought to fruition by Representative Swearingen. He's from Northern Ohio, and it's really a very good bill as far as where the Adams Board, which was stripped of certain powers by OMAS over the years, they will, hopefully this bill, if passed through the General Assembly, will bring that power back to the local level. It will provide for certification, recertification, investigations into issues with treatment centers and residential housing. They will be able to see Medicaid data, which that was stripped from them back in 2010. They are a HIPAA facility, so that is not an issue, but Medicaid at the federal level, Medicare, they went and they stripped, and what that did was that prevented visibility of whether or not people were getting adequate care. They may get a certain level of care, but they may not even know that they are eligible for something else that could really help them with their addiction. We're talking counseling. We're talking about other services that providers could provide that are within the Adams, their board as far as who they contract with. And it also allows the Adams Board to provide oversight if there's abuse of Medicaid dollars, if there is somebody's billing for something that isn't happening, or billing for something that really is abusive. They would have that visibility. I think the taxpayers deserve that visibility. I think the taxpayers deserve that oversight. So this is the first of many, I think, the bills that'll be going before the General Assembly. And I'm hoping that they pass these bills during this General Assembly. They're getting ready to go on summer recess. But when they come back, I know that these things are being pushed heavily, because we have to get eyes on individuals locally. You mentioned mental health. Of course, the Adams Board is instrumental in that, and working with individuals toward that goal. They do contract with Shawnee Family Center and others for mental health. I know Compass is doing more and more mental health now. Hopefully we'll see more of that with SOMC discontinuing. That's a problem. It really created a major problem. But I know that the Compass is helping. But they are looking, Adams Board is looking to try to reestablish themselves in a greater way. We did have an extensive talk about levy, and Colin, you brought up the levy. There is some hesitancy of doing something right now, just because of the attitude in the community. We are talking about doing something in regards to prevention education with the Adams Board. And maybe that's the levy. We do prevention education and get to our children in a bigger way in our schools. And instead of just doing 4 schools, we do all the schools. And we have counselors, and we go in and we speak to them constantly about don't start doing drugs, don't start drinking, don't start vaping, don't do these things, because trust me, all these things are prevalent in our schools, and we really need to try to prevent it from starting. So that's something we worked on. And then real quick, and I have to get to the meeting, but we have been working on a kayak industry, as you all know. We're jetting our way into that, and we are very aware that when you stand up a kayak industry, especially with the waterways we have in Sauter County, namely Sauter Brush Creek and the Sauter River and the Ohio River, mainly, but there are others, that safety is going to be very important. We do have Swiftwater Rescue in Portsmouth. The next one is in Piketon. Well, there's nothing in between. And if anything, when we had this situation where the Amish got caught out in Lucasville trying to get their beaver traps emptied out before that flash flood, well, they didn't make it. And they got swept downriver. 2 made it to shore. 1 didn't make it. He landed on a log and was stuck out in the river for 4 hours in temperatures of 30 degrees. So that was a dangerous situation. They struggled to get to him. And finally, Portsmouth was able to get on scene and go out and rescue him, and he's alive, and everybody survived. But with that, when you consider flash flooding, you consider what could happen, especially Sauter Brush Creek, the way the water can rise as fast as it can in a waterway of that nature, that we need to have Swiftwater Rescue at a more central location. What we've done, I contacted Larry Mullins with our EMA, and I said, listen, this is something we need. If we're going to have a lot of kayakers, a lot of people doing water sports, we need to be skilled. Number 1, we need the equipment. Number 2, we need the training with our volunteer squads. So what he did was he contacted Valley Township first. They were very interested in being the host of the boat, and we're going to be passing the information. I'm still trying to get all this figured out, but to purchase a Swiftwater rescue boat, very similar to what Portsmouth has, have it more at a central location, and then not only train Valley, but also any township that touches the rivers or the creeks we're talking about, Sauter Brush Creek, all the others, have individuals trained. So if they can't necessarily man the boat completely from Valley, then someone can meet them from closer to the location of the problem, meaning Rush. Somebody else could meet, because these are volunteer squads. They are not, manned 24/7. So that's the idea. I'm going to be passing information. Larry did all the work. He's found the boats, got the bids. We're looking in the range of around $30,000 for a Swiftwater rescue boat. The one that he's recommending is jet propelled, because this is Swiftwater. You have to be able to move, and a prop boat usually doesn't cut it. So just want to let everybody know that we are thinking about those things and working a parallel course with the kayak industry to make sure that we have the appropriate people in place, that if something occurs, if an accident occurs, somebody gets stuck out in the river, we need to rescue somebody, that we'll have those apparatus in place to do so. So just wanted to bring that up. I haven't passed anything to let you, to have you guys review it and look at it and start talking about it, but I think it would be a very positive thing for us to have in place, and really to give people some peace of mind that if something does happen, there's a way to get to them. So that's it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just a couple things. Speaking of water, Friends of Brush Creek are doing one of their cleanups this weekend. I believe it's Sunday. All the information's on their Facebook page. You can reach out to them and get registered. Essentially, get out on the creek. It's a beautiful creek, but they do a heck of a job cleaning it up. They'll pull tires and trash and different things. So thank you, Friends of Brush Creek. And if that's something you're interested in, please do that.
Yeah.
Music in Motion First annual Music in Motion is this weekend, operated by the Boney Fiddle Project down on 2nd Street. Rob Black and his team has concerts and yoga and biking and Connected with Connects, and there's a lot of different stuff there. Jump on their Facebook page or on their website for all of those activities. And it's all free. So my understanding, it's all free. So please take advantage of that. And then, of course, as we move into the Memorial Day weekend, there's a lot of different Memorial Day activities happening. Take this as a time to, regardless of what you think about politics or what's going on in the country, Memorial Day is about remembering people that have fought for our freedoms to disagree, quite honestly, and our freedoms to enjoy this country. So take as an opportunity to take your kids out to a parade, take them to the different monuments that we have around the county, Soldier Circle and Greenlawn Cemetery, whatever it is, but take the hour, take the half hour, whatever it is, to instill in your kids the pride that we have as Americans and why we have and can have the things that we enjoy. So I just want to say that. And with that, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in today.